Hi everybody, it's Marty. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing an upload. So yeah, no chat. No chat. I usually do a podcast with a chat. So anyways, this is one of those SRS Decades Past stories. And it's one of the main things that freaked me out about having the downstairs SRS, and I'll talk about it in a minute. And just for anybody that's new, I'm a woman of a teen trans experience. I'm 58 years old today. My journey started at 15. I'll pop up a card up there that will lead you to a story of mine that I talk in length about my journey surviving from 15, 16 to 58 today. And it was hard. It was hard. Anyways, I look like a little schoolgirl, don't I? My new face. Yeah, for anybody that's new, I've had a facelift 6 weeks ago. And still really painful in the jaws. And anyways, whatever. If you're new, or if you keep coming back to my channel and you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. It would really help me out. I'd love it. Join the family. Join the Cyber Vibe tribe. Yes, my cyber kittens. Why don't you just pause the video, subscribe, click that notification bell, or even check if your notification bell's on if you have subscribed. And I bet you will be surprised when it's not, because I know that for me, all of a sudden I'm going, why am I not getting notifications for Brittany's channel? And I just saw that she did a video yesterday. And it happens. All of a sudden it just arbitrarily puts it on occasional or something. So check that out. Subscribe, click the notification bell, comment, share the videos, all that stuff, because that's what this is about. It's about sharing my experience, strength, and hope. And on Sundays, I have a podcast where I usually have a guest on that shares their experience, strength, and hope. People that transitioned earlier in life, later in life, people that transition young now versus like me, people that transition really early in life. So join the fam, man. Yeah. Can't get over how cute this looks. I look so freaking young now with this little schoolgirl outfit on. I have to get a plaid skirt, I think. Yeah. So anyways, let's talk about this this scariest thing that ever happened to me. It was just totally, the scariest thing that affected me about SRS, or bottom surgery, okay? And I like to call it the fable of the fistulas, the fable of the fistulas. Because it all started, the first time I was scheduled to have surgery down there I was 18 years old. So that was 1980. I worked, like, for lack of a better word, worked my ass off, for ever since I ran away, 16 years old, and I just started socking away the money. And once I got the two psych letters and the psychologist letter, I went off to Toronto. I was living in Vancouver, Canada, and with my, I think it was $8,000 then, and I went to see this doctor. I'm not going to say his name. He's probably dead now, but anyways, and I went and saw him, and it was really weird. He was really old and shaking and all this stuff, and I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? And I gave them the money, and I went to this bar that people told me to go to in Vancouver. They said, so I had like one night to kill. So I popped some acid and went into the club, and this native girl comes sliding into this booth that I'm in, and she goes, hi, my name's, I don't know, Candy. I can't remember what her name was. And she's going, she was really street, angry kind of person. And so I just kind of played like all dumb and young. Hi, oh my God. And she's going, what are you doing here? And I said, oh, well, I was seeing Dr. blah, 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 you know, about getting my vaginoplasty. And she went, oh my God, he did me too. And she grabbed my arm and pulled me into the bathroom. And before I knew it, we're in the handicap stall. She has her legs slammed on the bathroom wall, and she's like lifting up her skirt, and she said, he did me too. And I was like, oh my God, it was just so much at once. She said she did that, and it looked, I don't know if it was because I was on acid or what, but it did not look nice. And then as she pulled up her nylons or whatever like that, she looked at me and she says, and you better not boink in your butt too much, or you'll poop through your, starts with a, sounds like punt. Yeah, that's what she said. And I was like, I couldn't believe it that she said that. And I just went, okay, yeah. And I remember, oh yeah, I started to cry. No, I started laughing. Because it was just so weird. And she looked at me, she got really, really mad. And then I turned the laughing into crying, and I went, oh my God, I just can't wait to get mine. It's like, you're so lucky. And I went running out of the bathroom and running out of the club, and I went running to my hotel and packed up everything and flew back to Vancouver, got an early flight, and landed in Vancouver, went running to my sister's, and I went, oh my God, it's like this candy, and it's like the bathroom, and it's like you're gonna poop through your vagina, and oh my God. And I was just like, oh my God, this is insane. And my sister just went, honey, just relax and just put it on the back burner, and it's like, when you're ready and when it's really good, it'll happen, like just chill on my. And I was like, oh my God, my sister's so cool, you know, as she passes me, you know. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so weird. So this poop through your punt, you know, sounds like punt thing, just kept echoing through my head for year after year after year, because I started getting so scared, and I started hearing about these poor women that were coming back from surgeries, and later they were having fistulas. It's called fistulas, and that's because your urethra, whether it comes through a penis or, you know, in your vagina, it's like below that is your genitalia, and then your perineum, and then your rectum. And so where they do the surgery and the rectum it's really close together. So a lot of times it was very common that it happened, and it was like so sad when it happened to people, and so many people sat in shame about it. And it wasn't until I was in recovery, like maybe 15 years ago, that I started talking to girls that did, and we actually were supporting each other with that, right? Because sometimes you could get it fixed, sometimes you couldn't, and some people had to live like that. And that's one of the things, you know. It was like, and when I went in 1993, it's like I knew how that was one of the big things that could happen. So, but you know, by that time, I didn't care what happened. I just couldn't live the way I was living anymore. So, when I went down to have the surgery, I remember when they were giving me pills. They were giving me pills every day for the 9 days, and I'm in recovery, so I'm like going, well, what's that? And they said, well, you know, this is a stool softener, and it's like, and they were giving 4 times a day, and they said, because we want you to be really, at first they don't even want you to go, and then they kind of bung you up at first when you have the surgery, and then afterwards they give you stuff to really soften, right? Like, and so anyways, I was so freaked out, and that echoing from that candy person from that way back, I started, my addiction to laxatives started to happen, and I was so terrified to go to the bathroom for like months and months and months, just absolutely terrified. I'm still terrified when I dilate, you know, about it, still to this day. It's really bizarre, and I know it's like crazy, you know, because like it's been so long now, type of thing, but it really becomes kind of like a phobia. So let me know in the comments below if you're post-op and if that happens to you. But I don't want this to deter you for girls, because a lot of girls say, oh, I don't want to do it, and they're so beautiful. I can tell they're miserable, and I know that they're just staying with their non-op because you can now. You can have a life with that. But I can tell that they don't feel completely complete. And a lot of them are because they are so freaked out about watching videos like mine, like saying this. But this was a long time ago. Like, it's more of a pathology now with me. Like, because, your face has nothing to do with down there. But again, I was on some painkillers, very, very mild stuff, but even just a little bit of codeine, it's like can bung me up, right? So I was told to go on stool softeners again. So there I go, starting them again, and taking a lot of them because I'm really afraid of stuff going on down there. And being 58, it's like you don't have to just worry about your vajayjay anymore. It's like just going to the bathroom. You don't want to have impacted situations. Let's just say it just does not. It's not pretty as you get older. And another fear, another layer of that. This is why it's the fistula, the fables of the fistulas, because like my mother died of being bunged up. She was 69 years old. It'll be 10 years this July that she died. And at 69, she died because she had an she was impacted stool in her gut. And it was from, she was taking pain meds for her whole life, right? She had chronic pain. She had a fentanyl patch on her. She's had chronic migraines, really bad, just, really horrible life she had. And so she was always popping the stool softeners and laxatives too, right? So, mother's daughter, and so seeing my mother die like that, it really, really freaked me out too. So, it's nothing to play around with, right? So that, I think, is one of the scariest things about SRS, is because it really could happen. A fistula could happen. So if you're prone to addiction like me, if you have a disposition to addiction and a disposition to body dysmorphic disorder, like, staying skinny and stuff and losing weight, it's like you start to realize that you take all those stool softeners, you eliminate so much, you stay slim too, right? So it's like another addiction too. So this one of the scariest things about surgery, about fistula, has so many tentacles to it, right? It's just crazy. So yeah, that's it. 13 minutes. I think I've gone long enough. So another little story about SRS Decades Past and things that could happen. And it's very, very minor, unless you're going to some backstreet doctor, like, in a third world country. I wouldn't lose any sleep over it. Like the doctors today, like the good doctors that are known for doing SRS down there, it's so very, very rare. It was like me with getting my facelift. It's like you could get hematoma, right? And I didn't get nothing. Like it was like I had one bruise. And so yeah, don't let that deter you, and yeah, if you ever need to talk, any of you young girls that have been non-op for a while and you're really struggling, whatever, talk with me, because I was early 30s when I finally did it, and I'm 58 now, and I wish I would have done it sooner, but if I had done it sooner, I probably would have ended up becoming a hostess in Japan, like back in the 80s, and I would have got murdered or something, because I just did not have the wherewithal. I was, I had no recovery, I had no living skills, I was just, beautiful and just going high octane on drugs and alcohol, and to everybody, it's like I knew best. So you know, it was actually having that down there and it not being so accepted back then, like really not accepted. Like I couldn't even tell nobody. Like most of the time I worked, it was, nobody knew that. And I worked, you know, in the sex industry, you know, and I was just the beautiful girl that I'd go with all my other girlfriends, and they would, you know, I was always the one that Flo was in town type of thing. It was only the last few years that I actually worked as a woman of pre-op experience, and really cashed in on that. And that, I think it was like, it was late 80s is when it started to take off. And because like even in the sex industry, it was really there was tons of prejudice against us back then type of thing. And we had to, I actually just ended up going into a mainstream you know, escort service and talking to them, and she did know trans stuff from Adam, but I told her, I said, just give me, you know, a couple months and I'll show you. And yeah, I was one of her biggest stars, let's say. And anyways, so yeah, that's a whole other story. But yeah, SRS Decades Past, lots of stuff that I can reflect on. So hopefully that helps somebody out. Leave comments down below. Love you guys. See you at my podcast on Sundays, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And like I said, please like the video. Please subscribe. Click on the notification bell. Then you'll know when I do impromptu lives, because sometimes I just throw the camera up in the car when I'm out and about and go to the beach and see who's there and talk about something that happened or whatever. And yeah, it's a really good tribe that we have, a Cyber Vibe tribe. Yeah, so I love you guys. So be well. Oh yeah, it's Thursday and I usually do meditation, so just remember to breathe. Just exhale everything out every once in a while. Pull in the tummy. And then inhale, tummy rises. Upper chest rises. And then exhale. Sorry, I'm getting used to this setup. I'm not looking in the camera as much. I'm looking down at the broadcast console. Anyways, living, learning, growing with you all. It's so nice. Oh, I got an Apple Watch for the first time for Valentine's Day. And it's so funny. This actually tells you when to breathe. It tells you when to just stop and breathe, so I love it. I approve Apple Watch. I love it. Okay, bye guys. Take care. Have a wonderful weekend if you're watching this right away, or if you're watching this in time. Hi.